by the Board of Selectmen. So at this particular time, as of March, there will be a vacancy in that position. We may want to visit that in the very near future.
I just have a couple questions. I mean, who made this request?
I think they originally came from the first selectman, and I became aware of, as you know, I was recuperating at the time. I was at Shady Knoll at the time that this took place. I became aware of the action that was taken, and that supposedly the first selectman had requested an opinion on this. When I found out that he had requested an opinion and was given this opinion, then I called up Warren and asked him if he would send me a copy of the opinion that he gave the first selectman, because I felt that I wanted a hard copy of it for our board also. I didn't want it to be hearsay that we heard that this opinion was given and we don't actually have a copy of it.
The request that, I just have a couple questions. The request that was made though, was it by you? Because it, from the Corporation Council, it says pursuant to your request and it's addressed directly to you.
Right.
What was your thought behind the request?
It was because I had been told that the action was null and void, that an opinion was given to the first selectman, and I felt that it affected our board, and I wanted a hard copy of that opinion, and I felt that we deserved a copy of it here, because, I mean, it's fine to say that this opinion was given to the first selectman, and to me, that's hearsay until I see a copy of it, and I requested a copy to be given to us, so that we would have it on record.
Now, was it, your request, was it in writing or was it oral?
I asked him to give it to us in writing.
Your request.
My request was something, I asked him to have something in writing so that I could place it on the agenda and that we would have a hard copy of it.
Right, but what I'm asking you is that when you request, and this is per warrant,
Right.
when you requested, was this an oral request by you or was it a written request by you?
I called up our attorney and I said to him, I understand that you made a ruling on action that was taken at the Board of Selectmen meeting, the Board of Police Commissioners. And he said, yes, I did. And I said, could you please give me a copy of that ruling that you made in writing so that I could place it on our agenda so that our board members would have a copy of it for their record. Because I feel if the action was taken at this meeting and town council ruled that it was null and void, I want a copy of it for us in writing. And I felt as chairman, I had the right to request a copy of that in writing from the attorney.
Right, I just, and I'll be honest, I just find it highly, and this here, and he states on page 2, you know, it shall be noted that this is my legal opinion. Okay, that's it, I'm not a lawyer, but you know, we're entitled to our own opinions as well, okay? I mean, we just didn't go to law school. But I just feel that it was highly suspicious that action is taken and then there's a firestorm after this with regard to an action taken. When I'll say that, and I said at that meeting, that previously, under some of the tenure of the members currently sitting on this board, that extensions have been offered to officers. They have.
And I will agree with that because I sat on the board and I recall that actually my motion was conditional that I made on the previous lieutenant, that at that time the individual had wanted to was turning 65, and at that time he asked to have it extended until the time that Social Security literally picked up, and at that time I believe Social Security went beyond 65 a couple of months, maybe 65 in 2 months or 65 in 3 months, and that extension was given to that individual as, and I believe part of the motion was to fall in line with the retirement age of Social Security at that time. But prior to that, I believe that an individual had requested extension, it was denied. So, I mean.
Basically, between the two of you, and of course, I didn't make any requests for this. In the past, like you said, we had the different boards that given extension, but according to this statute that he's quoting, we didn't have the right to do it. In other words, if this comes up again, we're on notification that we can't. It says the legislature power of the town should be vested in the board of selectmen, and they're the ones that have the power. We don't.
Do you know how many times requests were made to the Board of Police Commissioners for these extensions? I know I'm aware of at least 3.
I can remember.
One was denied, and I know 2 were given.
How many times?
Connick, Fox, and Martin.
Yeah, right.
4 in your tenure.
3.
Yeah.
3 in your tenure, there was no more.
The
Okay.
extension was not given to Connick, and Martin retired shortly after Fox, and it was the same extension, the extra 3 months or whatever it was, so that he would be in line with the Social Security, and that was part of the motion. I remember very explicitly stating that that was the only reason we were extending it, to be in line with the Social Security.
According to the February 16th, 2006 meeting, where you made the motion and Commissioner Chuck has seconded it, with specific to Officer Martin, his retirement extension has been granted for 8 months, commencing 1 day after reaching his 65th birthday. Okay, by a 3-to-1 vote, it was granted, and there's not one caveat to what you're saying.
Well, prior to that, it was under
And
the
there's
same,
nothing in the minutes.
well, it should have been, because I made it very explicit that it was to be in line with the date that Social Security allowed people to retire at full.
Then on December 25th of 2005, again, you make the motion for, at the time, Lieutenant Fox, with a second by Commissioner Chukta, that Lieutenant Fox request for a retirement extension be granted for 8 months commencing 1 day after reaching his 65th birthday. That goes through with a 3-to-2 vote, and yet there's not one single
Well,
caveat.
then I'm sorry that it isn't in there, because I
And
very
it's nothing
specifically
in the
stated.
minutes.
But again, I think at that time, we acted on that particular extension. At that time, we were under the opinion, as the same as you gentlemen were at the last meeting, that it was allowable, that we were allowed to do it.
But does it
And we
strike,
made the extension. You people, again, I believe at the last meeting, in good faith, did it, and then the first selectman, I believe, questioned it and got an opinion, and when that opinion was made, I requested a copy of the opinion, because I felt, you know, I don't want to be placed in jeopardy, or to feel that we should be placed in jeopardy at this point. If we had been told at the time that we did the extension that it was illegal, or maybe it wasn't on the books at that time, I don't know.
but
No one questioned